Well, hey everybody, it's the 23rd day of March 2026. I'm Jan Erickson, and this is As Above, So Below. Well, my time outside got away from me yesterday, and when I finally got back in, I was too exhausted, so I decided to wait and see if I felt better in the evening, which I didn't, so I'm doing this today instead of yesterday, so that's what happened. But I was able to split a very old lavender plant that was in a pot way too small. And I've got them in two different pots now. And hopefully I trimmed everything back and maybe they'll do better. I don't know. Anyway, let's go ahead and take the rune for this week from the Elder Futhark bag for the above side of things. We have Thurzaz. Now, Thurzaz is the third rune of the Elder Futhark. It is Thor's rune. It means the thorn. It kind of looks like a rose thorn there. You see Isa drawn here, and you see Kenaz inward here. Basically, it can be about new beginnings. It can be about what opposes you. It can be about giants and chaos and impulsive behavior. And sometimes with the impulsive behavior, that's what's opposing you. It's getting in the way of getting things done in a way that makes sense. So you react instead of observe and then act, you know. But it also can be about defense, both defense and offense. So let's see what the Geomancy runes have to say here, what we'll come up with. And I throw the elemental runes down. We'll put them in the order of fire, air, water, and earth. There's fire. And that's water. That's air. And this would be earth. So we're looking at Carcer. Okay. Carcer, let me pull this down here and see what we had the last time. We had Carcer last time. That's what I thought. Carcer is an interesting rune. It's the opposite of Conjunctio, whereas this would be Conjunctio, like a little hourglass, which means union and joining. Carcer would be self-imprisonment. So you kind of have an opposite. Instead of two dots up here, you have one, and one down here instead of two, and then two here instead of one. And so it's the complement of being able to collaborate with other people with Conjunctio. But with Carcer, it's not so. You're kind of self-imprisoned there by perception. And you can't really, what is going on with the hair here? It's in my eye. There, that's better. Anyway, with Carcer, I mean, it looks like a little ampule or bird cage, and so there's a container of sorts. And so, what can oppose you today with, or what you may need to break through, also with Thurzaz, could be breaking through difficulties and challenges. And maybe the challenge is just simply staying within your own personal bubble, your own perceptions of things, instead of being able to look beyond what you see and maybe do your due diligence, do a little more research, do a little more observation, whatever it takes to make you see that keeping yourself bound by your own perceptions, you never get out and you never step outside that comfort zone, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And explore new ideas with other people. So it could mean even being unwilling to work with others and just taking a very solitary approach to something, and when maybe something collaborative might be better in the long run. But the idea of breaking free from perceptions, breaking free from the ego and the ego's hold on your perceptions, could be where we'll start today. So I've done some shuffling already. I'm doing a little more now. Well, if I can. You know, sometimes cards just don't want to do what I want them to do. There we go. So I'm just going to cut the deck because clearly my shuffling's not working. I'm going to take 3 cards from the lower half. We're going to have the Wheel of Fortune here, and the Fool for the 2 cards from the Major Arcana that we have here. And we also have, it's so odd, I was thinking about the 3 of Swords earlier today, or not swords, but pentacles. Anyway, and here we have it. So that's kind of interesting. I'm going to leave things in the order that I have them. Let's go ahead though and do the numerology for this. I said that 3 was the numerology, or the 3rd rune for Thurzaz. 0 on the Fool, so nothing there. Another 3 for the 3 of Pentacles. And we have the 10 for the Wheel of Fortune. So we have 16. 1 and 6 is 7. Let's do it one more time. 3 plus 3 plus 10 equals 16. Yep. So let me put this down here. So this is what I said is the 23rd. 23, 2026. And we're going to have a 7 then as the numerology for the reading. And again, 7 is about it's about balance. It's about letting things settle out and making sure that you understand what's really happening around you before you make a decision. And again, understanding the need to step outside your comfort zone from time to time. You know, you have to understand the bigger picture of things. And it could be that, again, Thurzaz is helping you to do that today, to break through those challenging times where you just want to sit on your own and not really engage with anybody and not work with anybody. You just want to do it all yourself, and because being around other people, maybe you're just not comfortable with that. But for this week, you may want to do that. You may want to step outside your comfort zone and see the possibilities here. Here you have the Fool, the first, well, this card 0, meaning unity consciousness there, in the Major Arcana. And you see the Fool, we don't yet know if it's a male or a female. It's not taken its leap into physical reality yet. It's got its satchel right here, bringing with it whatever stuff that it's learned in other realities, and just to sort of get it started once it takes that leap into physical reality. You see his dog by his side down here, and he's on the cliff, and its face is turned toward heaven, toward the collective consciousness or unity consciousness. The sun off, and the yellow sky tends to reflect that. That's one of the interpretations of the sun, and the sun is also about identity as well, but it's also about higher consciousness. And so it trusts the process. It knows when it takes its leap. It has everything that it needs to succeed and to experience things that it wants to experience when it comes into physical reality. And so one way of looking at that is undeveloped potential. When you stay within your bubble, when you stay within the carcer experience, your potential is limited. It's limited by your perceptions. You don't explore any other new ideas that can maybe, make you rethink things now and again. And with the Fool, it's suggesting that if you do that, if you use that Thurzaz energy this week, you'll be able to then open up some new potential for yourself, for other things to happen, new opportunities, new ideas, new beliefs, if you will. Letting go of things that were holding you back. And when you do that and you step outside your comfort zone, you can then move forward in a way that maybe is brand new and totally unexpected. And if it involves something that is material and, in terms of a job or what have you, here you see a mason who's being quite creative there. And these two people come by and they're admiring his work. You kind of see that triplicity of experience. He's doing what he's doing. These other two are coming by and they're taking a look at what he's doing. Maybe they want to hire him. And so when you step outside your comfort zone this week, perhaps new opportunities that would increase your material security might come your way when you're willing to think about things in a different way, make some different considerations that you never have before. Take some advice from other people. Maybe that could be what this card could also imply, with two people coming by, kind of saying, this is what we need. And basically that sets a different path maybe for this Mason that's working on some stuff here, that I'm working on this kind of thing. Well, these folks seem to want something different than what I'm doing here. So now I'm going to think about that and find a way to do that job for them. And again, if you're willing to step outside that comfort zone, step outside the bubble of perception that the ego keeps you in, then pretty much anything is possible, as we see here with the Fool. Complete undeveloped potential to do anything that you want to do. And then in the end of it all, you have the Wheel of Fortune. And here you have basically fortune, prosperity, unexpected luck, maybe. So again, I think what the wheel is trying to say here is that if you do that, if you allow yourself that moment to just consider something else, the possibility of something else, that you've always done it this way. Well, maybe I'm going to do it this way now. I'm going to try something new. Step outside your comfort zone. Step outside the bubble of perception that's been holding you back. If you do that, that could be a quite successful situation, having to do with material security, perhaps a different job or new opportunities within the job you have, or maybe you're going to start a new business or something. And maybe you just kind of fear held you back before, maybe you've always wanted to do it, but then when you think about it, it's like, oh, no, I don't want to do that. That's really scary. What if I fail and all this other stuff? But what if you don't? What if, the undeveloped potential of the Fool is saying you have what you need. You have the skill set, perhaps. You have your values and principles that are strong and you're steadfast in. It's just that maybe you've done some negative self-talk and it's not working out for you. You're missing out on opportunities that you could have. And so Thurazaz wants to break through that and break open that cage that's keeping you bound to your own perceptions, so you can then move into a different direction and something that might be lucrative in terms of your material security. And in the end, it could be quite successful for you. So I think that's it. I think we did. I don't think I need another card to define anything further. I think that, this next week could again be just filled with something where you're just going to have to let go of the, oh geez, I can't, I can't do that. I'm afraid to do that. Just let that go. And I mean, what's the worst that can happen? It doesn't work out. Well, sometimes that happens, but what if it does? It might be something that's worth a second thought, worth a different type of consideration than you typically do, where it's like, no, I'm not doing any of that. This time, maybe say, okay, I'll try that and see what happens. Who knows? Could set you on a whole different path. Anyway, thanks for watching. And if you can get out in the nice weather, it's still a little cool here the last couple of days, but I guess it's supposed to increasingly get better. It's still March, and we're on the high desert, and I know we're now in a different gardening zone, one that's better for us, but still, it's not time to plant the beans. That's not happening till June 6th. So, most of our stuff will go in. Anything that's tender will either go in right before the end of May, so it can come up at the end of May or 1st of June or something. But, in the past, we could have that first week in June could be frost here, because the mountains are just like over there. So I'm still really nervous about doing anything, but I have started my onion sets. I'm growing my own from seed. They're up. I'm waiting for my Hungarian paprika to finish swelling and just start to sprout. I have them on a piece of wet paper towel inside a baggie, blown up. So this little environment. They're all swollen. They just haven't started to sprout yet. I checked them a little while ago, and they're still doing that part of it. So as soon as they sprout, I'm going to plant them in the 6-pack. I'm only going to grow 6 of them, Because this time I think we'll go ahead and do the smoked paprika when they're finished. We didn't last year. I just hung them up and dried them as they were, just have regular paprika. So the garden is beginning, but not really. So anyway, I am getting everything cleaned out though, and so's my husband. So he's making biochar at the moment, which is always fun. It's great for your garden. If you have a place you can burn limbs and things like that. You have to get it super hot. And then when it's all, just nothing but red coal, then you dump water on it. And it blackens up, and it doesn't go away. You just spread it out all over your garden, and it sweetens the ground, and it really does a nice job. It along with compost and things like that, biochar is really cool. And if you can make your own, you're ahead of the game, because if you go to buy it, it's not cheap. So, So my husband has a pit. He died. In the last few years, he's been making biochar, and it's great. So it's like charcoal in the garden. So anyway, that's what's going on here. So I hope your week is going well, and I hope you'll come back again on Sunday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.